everybody. It's your girl Stephanie, and
Man, y'all know who I am, baby. Jeff from the ATL, all the way down here in Nairobi, baby.
you have tuned in to the Jeff and Steph Show. And today we're going to be talking about a conglomerate of things. We're talking about a success story that we have to share, as well as just some tidbits about business and conducting business and growth in business, right? And us being agents of change and agents that help to support and add to. So we'll kind of mix it in, and also talking about just your relationships and friendships, and how we should be adding to them and not taking or dividing from them. We should be adding to each other and multiplying the goodness that we have to give. So that's what we're gonna be talking about today.
Well, there's so many ways that you can go with it. One thing about helping is has it has no limit, but it's sometimes people who want to be helped, and then there's some initiative of help because it can be different. Um, One is that sometimes that when you help, certain people feel like you got to help them all the time, and that's not the issue. The issue is that it's a saying that people say you will help others when they strive to help themselves. Because trying to help someone from the very start is not giving them a chance to help themselves. And so what happened is that sometimes people will tend to look at you that because maybe whatever you have of your own personal fortune, like cars or houses or whatever, then sometimes people tend to count your money in your pocket. And so they feel like you're obligated to help them. And of course, nobody's obligated to help no one. We help out because we want to, or we help out because we need to, but not by your opinion, right?
Yeah, and we help out from our overflow. And this is kind of a rule of thumb for me, is that it's something that I've learned over the years. And as I've gotten older, as I've gotten smarter and wiser, is a lot of times in my life, I am a giver. Jeff is a giver. And sometimes we can give too much. We can give out of our own source, if that makes any sense. So if I could give an example of that, if you see this cup, right? What's inside the cup is for you, right? So that you can take care of yourself, you can take care of what's going on with you. Now, what overflows, right, is what you have to give. Is that right? So you never give from what's inside the cup, from your source. You only give from your overflow, right? And that's a rule of thumb in helping people, in giving, right? We have because you can't give to everybody. We're not even if we were like if we even if we were billionaires, right? If we were trillionaires, right? We couldn't necessarily help every individual in the world, or else we wouldn't be trillionaires, right? So we have to pick and choose. We have to select, who we're giving to, and what we're doing with them. But when we do give, it is most definitely from the heart. And when we do give, one of the things that we have learned, both me and Jeffrey or Jeffrey and I, is that when um, you give not grudgingly nor out of necessity, because it should be a cheerful thing. It should be, I shouldn't be, when I give, we're not going to look for it. We're not going to look for you to be like, oh, I gave to you, so I want you to do this for me. It's not, there's no strings attached to our giving. When we give out of love, we give out of, and whatever agreement we have with each other, that's how we give, right? So there's no strings attached. And there, with a lot of people, there are strings attached. I give you as long as you do this for me, or I give you this as long as you be this for me. And so that's when giving is not what it should be. Because it says when you give, the scripture says, when you give not grudgingly nor out of necessity, for God loves a cheerful giver. You know, and who doesn't want somebody to be giving out of out of that love and out of cheerfulness instead of giving from strings attached. And I think the world is set up where there are a lot of strings attached to people's giving nowadays, or strings attached to people's love and that sort of thing.
Um, Helping someone a lot of time is dealing with sacrifice. You probably don't label it as sacrificing, but helping is going to be out of the norm of what you're doing every day. For as many examples, uh, example that I can give, um, again, is that if someone that's working towards something and their initiative of making the effort and they just need just a little help, that's different. But again, at a 0 point of a person said, I don't have, I need something. First, you're gonna be like, let's see what's the issue because you may not need the help that you think you need monetarily.
True, true.
Always start that, and so sometimes people don't want to go to that very beginning because now we're slowing things down
Yeah.
to make sense. Because what happened is that if you instantly just giving all the time, which all of a lot of us have went through that, or you may be that one and you can't see that you're the one with the issue.
Mm-hmm.
And so again, is that first thing, don't never count no one money. Don't count their pocket, don't count what they achieve and think they can afford to give.
Mm-hmm.
Because when whatever that you had and you did your own mistakes, you did your own losses, we wasn't there when you did that. So at some point you got to see where did it started from in order for you to need my help.
That's true. That's true in so many ways. And then there are things that happen in life that are not necessarily things that you can control, right? There are lots of things that happen in life that we cannot control, and we do the best that we can with what we got. I was having a conversation with a friend today, and we were talking about um, how situations happen in our lives, and some things that we can't control. And I told my friend today, I said, she was crying, she was feeling emotional. I told her, listen, cry it out, and when you get through crying, come up with a master plan. And one of the things, like I said, we talked about, how we are so not like people. We give so much, right? You're this person, and you give to everyone, you give so much time and energy to people and things. But when it's time for you, those people are nowhere to be found. And it makes you think about the story that's in the Bible about Jesus, and he healed the 10 lepers, and only one came back to say thank you. And so that's too why when you give, it's so important to be giving cheerfully, because when you give, you can't be expecting that to come back to you from the person who you're giving it to, right? That's the reason why it's so important, because maybe only one will come back and say thank you in your entire life. And I know plenty of people I've helped, and a lot of people not will never come back to say thank you. They'll go on. They might even elevate and go to the next level. And when you might not be doing so well, those will not be the people who will come to your rescue or come to help you. So it's super important to make sure that you are giving from that. But I told her, cry it out, and when you get through crying out, come up with a master plan that's going to help you, and then understand that we only giving from overflow, and that's it. And that's how we're operating in this season of our lives. And I was trying to um, motivate her in that, and just thinking about, and this takes us into like relationships and friendships. Talking about all types of relationships, friendships. That it should never be a take situation, right? It should never be that. In our lives, we experience this in this world because people are selfish. People are selfish. They are self-serving. It is all about them. And if you're around those types of people, then those are not the people that you need to be around. People that are constantly pulling and taking from you. We should always be in settings that help to build us, as well as us building other people up, right? we're supposed to be pouring into it. Like even as me and Jeff being, we're mentors, we mentor people, we help people, and we support them in their, whatever their goals are, whatever your goals. Even when even when we hire people to do things with us, our intent is never to keep them working for us unless what we're doing is exactly what they want to be doing, right? But it's never to just keep them under our control or under our thumb or under our tutelage, right? It should be, if I'm pouring into you, I should be pouring enough into you so that you can go out into the world and you can create and you can do. And we just keep replicating ourselves, replicating our ideas, um, and things of that sort. It shouldn't be that I want you to just I'm going to keep you for myself, to keep you under my thumb, and you only just stay here at this level. But we should be elevating. And all relationships should be that way, whether it's for if you're working for someone, if you are in you have a group of girlfriends, you and your girlfriends, you should be building each other up. You should be helping each other with your goals. You should be helping each other to grow, whether it be spiritually, mentally, physically, financially, even. It should be an elevation, right? It should be a glow up. All your relationships should be glow ups, right? And we've both been married. We've both been in relationships, outside of that, and in learning those things. One of the things is you can kind of tell, like when it's a great relationship, then those people flourish in the relationship. You grow. And when it's not a good relationship, you might have one side growing, the other side not growing. And that's not a healthy relationship. It's not a healthy balance. In businesses must be win-win. Everybody should be winning. If it's a win-win, then I won't come back to you and be like, you did something to me or you owe me. If it's a win-win, right? If we are when in business, that's the best type of business. When we close, it should be a win-win for everyone, so everybody's happy when they walk away and nobody's feeling taken advantage of. Nobody's feeling like, okay, we're you getting more than I'm getting or anything like that. It should be a win-win. So in these things, like we are seeing a lot of situations that are not win-wins, that are not elevations and glow-ups. Charles Stanley wrote a book called Walking Wisely, and that's one of the things that he said too in his book. He talked about uh, we should be and adding to this person. We should be multiplying this person. We should be basically helping each other to move forward. But if we're not, then it's not a healthy situation. It's not a healthy relationship. It's not a healthy work environment. It's not a healthy business agreement, right? So these are some things that we are seeing that we wanted to talk about because it's a pretty big situation, right?
You know, helping is, again, with me, with my learning thing, is always a decision. And so, in the helping the way that I see it, and I'm still growing like anyone else. My thinking can be different because how I feel. And helping really, in a sense, really shouldn't be an an emotion decision. Because what happened that once you start being emotional, now you're gonna start categorizing things. You're gonna look at the person and now you're gonna start sizing them up. You're gonna start finding yourself getting away from the real purpose of help. And the reason why you do that because you may probably have got scammed before because you help someone out and you trust them, you believe them, or you may have been the scammer yourself and you had got over folks. So there's ways to look at things when it comes to help. But the point what I want to get to is not the negative part. It's the part that understanding the reason of helping. There's a lot of people are very misfortunate. It's a part in the Bible and the Holy Quran is about helping the orphans or the ones who don't really have to even start moving forward. And so the widows, and there's a lot of way of looking at help. But I do know for a fact that when God worked with you, a lot of times He worked from the ground zero with you. And that's the part that it hurt because you really extend your hand out for help and there's no one there. But time is always going to be calculated. As you waiting and looking for someone to help you, time's still going. But you don't realize sometimes that the help you didn't get, it put you in a real faith and a trust in God. Because who else can you trust? Because now it's going to be a decision. Is that are you going to trust God with all your heart and your mind and soul? Or are you going to do it part time? Because whatever decision that you do, it's going to be challenged. It's going to be challenged if you go right or left. It's going to be challenged. But in the challenge, it's going to be motion of moving forward. That you see it or you don't see it. A lot of times is that when you are ground zero and you're moving along and you're not just sitting waiting on a mystery God to help you, then you're going to see yourself moving forward because the word says, it said that if you take the first step, God will help with the next step. You got the initiative to move. So when you move, then you don't realize how much you get closer to the things that you was looking for. So in helping is that you have to look at it so many different ways because we all gonna say, man, nobody helped me. I did it by myself.
I'm a self-made.
You hear
I'm
the word I'm a
self-made.
self-made millionaire. I didn't need nobody help. I got it on my own. I can do it on my own. See, now you got to start. Now you definitely removing God out your life because God is not about that bragging. If it's about bragging, then God really, He really do away with all of us. He help us all the time. We know that, especially through and that's why testimony is helping because you understand God pulled you through it. So if you hear anyone or you find yourself talking like, I didn't need no help. I did on my own. Man, and especially we only say that when we deal with finance. But a lot of time, man, what about when your finance can really put you in the position that you really need? So you have to be careful how you talk about how you help people or you didn't need no help. Because where you think you're strong at, oh man, God's gonna challenge you where you really think you're strong at and gonna show you you're not strong in that area. So
I tell you that it's 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 very important to know like where your source comes from. And I've said this before, and I don't know if I've said it in the podcast or not, but our source is the creator of all things, hands down, right? But then he's also equipped us, right, with the ability to be able to, because even with him we still have to, there's some work in faith, right there, with that faith without works is dead. So there has to be a work in it, and it has to, we have to understand that he is our source, but then he said, I've given you power, I've given you dominion. So now there is things that we have to do, but you do, and my mom used to always say this, do what you can do, but what you can't do, you don't worry about that, right? So when she said that, okay, then I added to it. You don't worry about that because that ain't your business. That's God's business. The stuff that you can't fix, the stuff that you can't do, but the things that you can fix, you're responsible. The things that you can do, you're responsible to do those things. And these life challenges that do happen, they come to make us. They come to build us. They come to build our character, build our understanding, build our wisdom. And then not only that, but people are watching us. So then now not only is it helping us, but it's helping everything that touches us, everything that is around us, our sphere of influence. So yeah, when going through these things, you have to look at all the picture. What did I do first of all to get into this situation? Okay, okay, that's what I need to, this is what I can work on, this is what I need to fix. I made this choice and this is how I got here. Okay, now what am I going to do better next time? What am I going to do next? What am I going to do better? Right, what am I going to improve so that this doesn't happen again? And then we have to create a plan from there. Okay, so this is where I am, let's fix this plan. And when people are doing that, when you go to work, when you go to do, the creator always sends people. He always sends somebody at the point in time that you actually need them to do it. But first you have to do. First you have to work. And when people, like he said, when he sees somebody doing the work, it inclines him to help. Right? When he sees somebody moving, hustling to move. But if you sitting down, woe is me, and you just woe is me, you in that woe is me moment. The woe is me moment is not the moment that you need help. Because in the woe is me moment, that's the time when you are looking, evaluating yourself, the reason why you got here, how did you get here, and you're still working that part out. Then you have to come up with, what am I going to do, or what am I going to do differently, so that's that part, that's that self-work part. When that self-work part finishes, or when you get to that point and you come up with a plan, okay, I'm going to do this. The plan might not even be what the creator wants you to do, but you don't going to do it sets you on the path, right? In order to receive the help that you need in order to get to the next step. So there are levels to getting help, and levels to helping others. There are levels to it all. And like I said, every relationship that you build, every friendship that you build is very important, because in those relationships and friendships, those people are tapped into the same energy you tapped into. So that means that you're going to be on the same path. And in being on the same path, there is support there, there is love there, there is growth there, and there is movement there. And that's how you know you got the right people on your team, the right people on your in your group, the right people around you. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, and like I told y'all, we're gonna be kind of touching on the several different places, but they kind of all stem around each other, because it all goes back to growth. And there are people that don't want you to grow. There are jobs that you're on, they're not trying to get you to elevate or learn more. I had a friend who worked for a company, and when they worked for the company in one state, this particular state, they were supported. People were teaching them the tools, and they were teaching them more than what their job required to be, to for that position. And so they would say, "Listen, I'm going to teach you this because I want you to take my job because I'm moving up." And so that was the culture in that job, in in this particular state, right? Was I'm going to teach you my job so you can take my job because I'm moving up, right? Then they moved to a southern state, and when they moved to the southern state, they said, "Oh, you can stand a pay cut, and why do you know this?" Because there are people who don't want you to elevate. They don't want you to grow. They don't want you to be better. And if you're around those types of people who don't want you to grow, they don't want you to be better. They just want you to stay right where you are, stay right here in pocket, stay where I have you, and don't want you to move to the next step. Then those are not your people. Those are not the people that you want those are not people you want to work with, do business with, or anything of that sort. So yeah.
Yeah. Supporting. Supporting is very important. That's another form of help. Um, because in supporting, it shows that you helping. Sometimes it's not about directly coming out your pocket and helping. It's the mind of thinking like, you know what? That's my brother. That's my friend. Right. That's our own business. And that's a point that people don't realize, is that they don't help because it's first thing, they don't feel like it's personal to them. Like, I don't have to help because this is not mine. I don't have to help because they got their own self in this situation. You got to understand, help and support are the same. It's just one is this and one is that, but it's still the same. Support, either you're going to support or you're not going to support, because you can't just sit back and just let someone just go under. That's very sad. A lot of us, we do that. And then once we go under there, we're like, I told you it wasn't going to work. Or they this and they that. You talk about them. What you have done, you have helped them to fall because you didn't support. Now, you may say that And they hear it all the time in politics. Not changing the subject, but always talking about if you don't vote, you're not supporting, then you helping the other team. We got to understand what we really supporting, what we really helping. Understand what you really doing. If you don't, then sometimes it's better not even do nothing at all or just don't say nothing because
because
you
should be
really in
in
the way.
love.
Yeah,
It
because
should be a love thing. It should
yeah,
be giving and love. Give not grudgingly nor out of necessity, right? And when we do that in that spirit, it helps us, the giver, and it helps the person who's
yeah,
getting the help as
yeah,
well. So yeah, so check your spirit, check your spirit, check your motives, check all of that, check yourself. Where are you? Why are you there? What did you contribute to it? What did you do to contribute to it? And if you didn't, because there are situations where people, you ain't did nothing and something has just happened and you have to figure a way out. Listen, you should have a support system. I know that people like nobody needs nobody. We ain't in that vein no more. Okay, we need each other. It is a collective. I am my brother and my sister's keeper. We are each other's keepers. We do need each other. We need that support. Sometimes it's not always financial. It's not always about money. Everybody want to make everything about money. It's not about money all the time. Sometimes it's just some people need you to have, just give them an ear to listen, to give them some advice, maybe to help them along the way, because we've all been through some of the things that people have been through. So we have these experiences, we have these testimonies that we need to share. If we don't share our testimony, how is it edifying? A testimony should edify those who are listening, those who are in range of it. So listen, choose your people wisely, right? Don't be in spaces that don't build you up and help you to grow or go to the next level. And I ain't telling you to go quit your job, right? But I am telling you to be wise about the jobs that you choose, if you're working for someone, or the businesses that you choose. And then get around people who are doing what you're doing or doing the things that you want to do. So when you do that, you put yourself in those spaces, then you create a space for growth, right? But it's up to you. You make the choices. You can do it, right? And so that's what we want to talk about today. We were going to share a success story for y'all, but we are out of time, so we'll tell you on a at another time. And listen, like, share, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. And thank you for joining this Jeff and Steph show.
yeah, baby.
Go and sing your song.
For the Jeff and the Steph
Who is it? Jeff and
show.
Steph. Who is it? Jeff and Steph. Who is it? Jeff and Steph. Who is it? Jeff and Steph.